Hey loves, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about how to prepare for the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship interview. I'm going to share my insights as well as my experience on how I prepared for the interview and the approach I used in answering my questions. I will also share the mistake that caused me to miss my first interview appointment and how I was able to manage the situation eventually. So, if this is something you are interested in, keep on watching. The first advice I have is that make sure you review your motivational letter and your CV thoroughly for the interview. This is very important because usually the waiting period from when you submit your application up until when you receive a mail for interview might take a couple of months. In my own case, I applied in December 2021. I submitted my application in December and I got an invite to an interview in May. That's roughly 5 months. So there are chances that you might have forgotten the tiny important details in your application. Maybe it could be on your CV or your motivational letter. And you may never know what will capture the interests of your interviewer. It could be your work experience, it could be your volunteer experience. Sometimes it could even be a statement that you wrote on your motivational letter that will require further clarification. So don't be caught off guard. Make sure you review your CV and your motivational letter before the interview. I hope you get it. Secondly, provide well detailed answers. I know this can be quite challenging because you might be confused whether to provide short answers or whether to provide lengthy answers. But always keep in mind that lengthy answers does not necessarily mean that it is well detailed. Let me give an example. So some of the questions during the interview were, please introduce yourself. Why did you apply for this program? Why do you think you deserve the scholarship? What are your future goals? So let's pick the first question. If you are being asked to introduce yourself, it's not sufficient to just talk about your name and your educational background and professional background, and that's it. This is a time for you to sell yourself, but without trying to overdo it. So let me just give a template, which I'm not expecting you to follow, but a well-detailed answer can include your full name, your educational background, then talk about your passion, maybe one or two sentences, just keep it short. Your passion, then talk about your work experience, how your passion has led you to get involved in the field that you've chosen. You can give like one or two examples and then align it with the goal of the program. By providing thorough and insightful responses, you are not only showcasing your passion, you are also showing how you can communicate effectively. And this can be done by practicing. So you can write down your answers and you keep on practicing and practicing and practicing before the interview. So with what I've mentioned so far, let's put it into practice. My name is Bakola Oyesomi and I hold a bachelor's degree in child development and family studies from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria. I have a particular interest in research, policy making, and advocacy for the unmet needs of young people with mental health challenges, particularly among those living in low and middle income communities in Nigeria. Over the past few years, I've actively pursued opportunities to immerse myself in this field through internships, volunteering, and research projects. For instance, I volunteered at the Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Department at University College Hospital Ibadan, where I had the chance to work as a psychotherapist. During this period, I provided psychotherapy sessions for the adolescents. I organized interactive sessions for those on admission, as well as psychoeducating their parents, families, and teachers on practical ways to provide support. Furthermore, in 2020, I started an online mental health advocacy platform named Moment with Bukola on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. On these platforms, I offer psychoeducation and counseling services to young people, I also create digital content such as posters, videos to promote mental health awareness. These experiences have not only shaped my skills but also solidified my commitment in making a meaningful impact in the lives of young people. And I look forward to gaining more knowledge and skills through the SOG program. Thank you very much. This is just an example, and you don't have to you don't have to use my words verbatim or use my approach. But what I want to just lay emphasis is that whatever approach you choose, make sure it reflects your passion, it reflects your goals and your dedication in the field. Another important point I want to bring out is that when you're preparing for your interview, once you get your interview date, please make sure you confirm the time difference between the country in which the interview is going to be conducted and your own country. Okay, let me give an instance. So in my own case, I fell victim of this because when I was applying, Lithuania was just 1 hour ahead of Nigerian time as at then. So that stuck with me, and I never bothered to go back to check if the time zone changed or not. Unfortunately for me, when I got my invite for the interview in May, the time has already changed to 2 hours ahead of Nigerian time, which I had no idea about. So when my interview was scheduled for 10 a.m. in the morning, which is supposed to be 8 a.m. Nigerian time, I felt like it was supposed to be 9 a.m. since it's just 1 hour. So I was chilled and I waited till around 8:30 in the morning because I felt like I even have time. I still have like 30 minutes to my interview. I sat down waiting for my interviewer, and after like almost an hour, I was sitting and nobody was attending to me. So I sent a mail to the admission board that I'm still in the waiting room. No one's attending to me. And that was when the thought just struck me that, Bukola, but you didn't check the time difference. What if the time at I was praying silently that I know that the thought should not come from me. And lo and behold, when I checked online, I realized that the time zone was already 2 hours against the 1 hour that I had in mind already. Fortunately for me, I was able to get a reconsideration, and they rescheduled a new date for my interview. You can never tell what is going to happen in other times. You understand? So don't even wait for it to get into that position where you start apologizing and begging them to reschedule a date for you, because especially now that we have more applicants applying each year, there might not be luxury of time for interviewers to start rescheduling new dates for applicants. So please, in fact, the night to your interview, make sure you go back, you confirm the time difference so that you do not miss your interview. And lastly, I want to add that whatever your faith may be, whether you're a Christian, whether you're Muslim or a traditional worshiper, it does not harm or does not hurt to pray before your interview too. I did it and I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah, because apart from your faith, you also create some sort of relief, especially when you are anxious, like few minutes in your interview, like praying can just help you to just stay calm before you start answering your questions at the interview. I'm really wishing you guys the best, honestly, and I'm waiting to hear your good news. Please make sure you share the good news when you eventually get selected. Till then, if you have any question or any clarification you want me to do, or if there's any topic you would like me to make a video on, don't be a stranger. Put them in my comment section and I'll try my best to attend to all your questions. With that being said, I will see you in my next video. Bye.